All right, everybody, we are back and we're going to do the club this week. All right, I had to do a bit of digging to find out where the Starminster exchange students were staying, but in the case of Reese, all I had to do was follow the trail of simpering girls waiting for him to leave his room. One of them spots me approaching and gives me a wary look. If you're here to see the prince, you'll have to wait in line. Excuse me? There are a lot of people wanting to speak with him, and he doesn't have all day to chat. Why is everyone so interested in this guy? Are you kidding? Prince Reese is more than just a pretty face. He's a muse. He inspires greatness in anyone he cares about. And who wouldn't want a muse like that looks like that? Okay, if you say so. So don't even think about trying to cut the line. These girls are serious. This is ridiculous and definitely not what I was expecting to deal with today. Look, I have something important to discuss with him. Yeah, we all do. Before I can argue further, the door opens and Reese walks out. This is an instant buzz of excitement from the surrounding girls. Reese doesn't look all surprised with the crowd waiting outside his door. In fact, he leans into it, awarding them with dazzling smile. Hello, ladies, did you miss me? The girls giggle, swoon, and fan themselves. They are obviously loving every second of being in Reese's presence. Well, I'm afraid I don't have time to chat today. There's a murmur of disappointment from the group, but I realize this is my chance. Maybe once he leaves the crowd, I can talk to him without going through the gauntlet of girls. He slips past the giggling entourage and saunters down the hallway, and I'm actually surprised the girls don't follow him. I guess even they have their limits. I wait till Reese exits the dorm hall to approach. Hey, Reese. He turns his attention to me. Once he sees my face, his expression changes. Oh, it's you. Look, I already told you, I don't have a twin or a doppelganger or whatever, so if you've fallen in love with me, with my look-alike, I don't know what to tell you, it's not me. The guy's arrogance knows no bounds. What if I could show you that you do have a look-alike? Reese gives me a curious look and then smiles. And how are you going to do that? I can show you, you just need to follow me. Fine, if you insist on dragging me along, I'll humor you, if only so you'll stop pestering me with this nonsense. I really hope I won't have to deal with Reese's delightful personality for long. For now, I need to put up with him in order to help Alistair. This way. When we enter the cold room again, it seems particularly dark. The room has never been brightly lit, but something about it seems more ominous today. Okay, now we're in a creepy room. What is it that you wanted to show me? Just wait and see. I turn towards the room and call out into darkness. Alistair, we are here. I brought him. Alistair materializes with a cold rush of air. I smile at him and gesture towards Reese, who is standing slightly behind me. This is Reese, the one I was telling you about. Alistair looks past me and his eyes widen. It's impossible. Who are you talking to, and why is it so cold in here? I turn around to Reese. Alistair is right in front of him, but he isn't looking at him. He's looking at me. Can't you see him? See who? Alistair moves around Reese, waving his arms in front of his face. Reese gives no reaction. I don't think he can see me. Wait, why not? I don't know, but the resemblance is uncanny. This person looks just like me, but how? Reese watches in confusion as I have a conversation with my invisible friend. Then his expression changes and he approaches me with what I assumed is supposed to be a flirty grin. Okay, I get what this is. You just wanted to get me alone in a dark room, didn't you? What? Of course not. It's okay, really. I give you full marks for your creativity. You piqued my interest, and that doesn't happen very often. Reese moves closer to me, and I take a step back. That is not what this is. I take another step back and bump into one of the desks. Why are you running away? I won't hurt you. I mean, this is what your plan was all along, wasn't it? No, it absolutely was not. Then why did you invite me here? I told you I wanted you to meet someone. I'm a bit cornered now and I put my hands up in front of me to keep him from moving any closer. Thankfully, he stops, giving me a strange look. Is this some sort of game you're playing? Because let me make it clear. This is up for you. I don't like games and I'm not into the whole hard to get thing. I'm about to give an angry retort when a large book comes flying towards Reese. It smacks him squarely in the back of the head, causing him to gasp in surprise. What the? Another book comes flying. This time it hits him in the face. What is this? What are you doing to me? It's not me. You're crazy. You're a lunatic. Stay away from me. Rice bolts towards the door as the books come soaring towards him. He slams the door shut and the room is quiet. I give a sigh of relief. I don't think Reese is used to being turned down, but he certainly didn't expect to be attacked by phantom books. Alistair? Alistair appears before me, a look of pure rage on his face. What an idiot that guy is. How dare he try to touch you? He turns to me, his expression softens, and he reaches out a hand towards me. Are you alright? Of course I am. I don't think he was actually going to do anything. He's just used to getting what he wants. Alistair stares at me for a moment, then glances over my shoulder. The door Reese just exited. That person can't be me, can he? I don't know. I was hoping that if you saw each other, it might trigger something. I wonder why he couldn't see you. Are other people able to see you, other than me, that is? Yes, though I'm reluctant to show myself after the first couple of times someone saw me and screamed bloody murder. I suppose that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. I slumped down into a nearby chair, feeling defeated once again. Nora, I appreciate all your help in trying to figure out what happened to me, but maybe it's just not meant to be. Don't say that. I refuse to believe you're bound to be stuck in this room for eternity. While I admit that it's not ideal, I have enjoyed these last few weeks with you. Somehow that makes it really worth it. Now, you should probably get back. I assume it's getting late. Yeah, you're probably right. But Nori, stay away from that Reese guy. I don't trust him. I nod once and Alistair fades away, leaving me alone in the darkened room. A lot of noises come from my room when I return that evening. I open the door to find Rayla tossing her clothes around the room and several large bags on the floor. What's all this? I'm packing. I'm just trying to find my most respectable clothes to bring in. Well, it's not easy. Are you going somewhere? Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'll be traveling home for the holidays, so I'm sorry to say you'll have to make do without my shining presence for a few days. We don't get a full week off, but it's nice to have a long weekend. There's a holiday next week? Dang, I'm doing a lousy job keeping you updated with all of our traditions, aren't I? Next week is the Festival of Embers. It's kind of like our most important holiday. Its original purpose was to celebrate rejuvenation after the cold winter, but these days everyone uses it as an excuse to have a lot of parties and spend tons of money on garish decorations. I take it you don't get into the holiday spirit? Well, they take it very seriously in my grove. They all go out, calling natural post-teenage rebelliousness, but I don't exactly share their enthusiasm. So how does the Sarenville handle the holiday? Do all the students go home? Hold on, I want to save real quick. Some of them do, but many students stay here if they have families that live far away or something. I suppose I'll be staying. I don't exactly have anywhere else to go. Oh, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Do you want to come home with me? My family may be weird, but they're totally interested in you. You've told them about me? Who do you think you're talking to? Of course I've told them. They're completely fascinated by the soon-to-be Oracle human roommate. I'm not that interesting. Come on. Are you kidding? You forget. No one has seen a new Oracle in 100 years. You're like an anomaly for our kind, but in a totally good way. Well, thanks for the offer, but I think I'll stay here. I actually like it here. It's much more of a home than I had back in my old town. Well, let me know if you change your mind. I'll be leaving the day after the big party. What big party? Haven't you seen the signs posted all around the school? Sarenville has a huge blowout on Friday. It's not formal or anything, but there will be music, food, and dancing. Sounds fun. It'll be my first Radiant party. You're gonna love it. We Radiants know how to party. Now, help me sort these clothes. Of course, let's do this. Alright. Elective class. What's our highest ability? Control? When I return to my room, I am surprised by a letter shooting under my door at top speed. It's one of those magical missives. I snatch it up instantly and recognize Arian's neat script. Miss Adonis, I'd like to reschedule today's lesson. I'll pick you up outside your dorms on Saturday, 8 a.m. sharp. He didn't give me a space to respond, so I assume this little weekend lesson is non-negotiable. Why does it have to be so early on the weekend? I love getting up and getting things done early. Finally, I have time to sit down and read the former Oracle's journal. This book called out to me in a vision, so it must be important. I flipped to the end of the journal, mostly interested in her final days. I slip on the glasses Cinder gave me and look over the pages. Just as she said, the words have transformed from Greek to English. This is seriously a cool item. I settle in and begin to read. Dear Journal, my frustrations with the console have been at an all-time high lately. They seem to have such a tight hold on my life, dictating every decision I make and controlling my every move. I am an oracle, for goodness sake. I am supposed to have an insight and wisdom beyond what most people possess, yet the console insists on managing my every move. They tell me where I can go, who I can see, and what I can do. It's like they don't believe that I can handle anything on my own. Uh-oh, that sounds like an awful position to be in. I know that part of my role is to serve the console, but I can't help but feel like a puppet at times. I wish they would trust me enough to use my gifts and make the right decisions. I long for the freedom to explore this and discover new things, to make my own choices and follow my own path, but the console always seems to be standing in my way. I hope that someday the console will see me as more than just a tool for their use. Until then, I will keep fighting for my independence and autonomy. Okay. Dear Journal, I cannot shake the feeling that something is off about Samia. As a consul's secretary, she is always around, constantly taking notes and recording our meetings, but there's something about the way she carries herself that seems too calculated, almost manipulative. I have noticed that she often seems to be one step ahead, as if she knows exactly what's going to be said or decide before it happens, and whenever she speaks, it feels like she's trying to steer the conversation a certain way. I have also caught her looking at me strangely on more than one occasion. It's hard to describe, but it's almost as she's trying to gauge my reactions or read my thoughts. I do not want to jump to any conclusions, but I cannot ignore my gut feeling that something is not quite right with Samia. I will continue to pay close attention to see if there's any other evidence arises to confirm my suspicion. Dear Journal, today was a strange day. I woke up feeling a bit off balance, and I was getting ready for today. I could have sworn that I was being watched. At first, I dismissed it as if my mind was playing tricks on me, but as the day went on, I kept seeing glimpses of a figure out of the corner of my eye, and I don't know if I was seeing things or if it was a deeper message being conveyed to me. All I know is that it's unsettling. I'll have to keep a closer eye on things and try to figure out what's going on. Until then, I'll just have to keep trusting my instincts and hope for some clarity on this strange situation. Sybil. Dear Journal, I know it's irrational, but I could have sworn I saw a ghost of William, the former oracle, standing in my room last night. I can't help but feel like he's trying to communicate with me. I see him standing in the corners of my vision, away, just out of reach. His gaze is intense, and I feel like he's trying to tell me something. This is not like a vision. This is something else. William's ghost, maybe? I feel that William is trying to guide me in some way. He is known to be very wise and powerful oracle. Whatever he's trying to tell me, it must be important. Dear Journal, I've been struggling to make sense of the strange occurrences over the past few days. I can't shake the feeling that William is trying to communicate with me, but no one seems to believe me when I bring it up. They think I'm just imagining things or losing my mind. They keep telling me that it's impossible, that ghosts don't exist. So if it wasn't a ghost, then what was it? I can't shake the feeling that William is still alive somehow. It seems impossible. I saw him die with my own eyes, but my instincts are telling me that he's out there somewhere. I don't know what to do. I just feel like I'm going crazy, but I just can't ignore the feeling. I'll have to keep searching for answers and hope that eventually I'll be able to prove that William is alive. Dear Journal, I've been trying to find a way to get to the bottom of this strange situation with William. I've been going in circles, but I finally had a breakthrough. I realized that the only person who might have had the answers is Samia. She's been around for long enough and knows just about everything that goes on in the council. I made plans with her tomorrow and ask her about William. I'm hoping she'll be able to shed some light on the situation and help me understand what's going on. I'm a little nervous about bringing this up with her, and I'm not sure how she'll react or even if she'll know anything, but I'll have to try. I can't let this go until I have some answers. I'll update you tomorrow on what I find. Sybil. The journal ends here. No follow-up on her conversation with Samia. It seems odd that Sybil would seek answers from someone that clearly did not trust. And seeing the ghost of her predecessor, William, she insists that he is alive, but surely that can't be. She mentioned that she felt he was trying to tell her something in a message, but perhaps warn her about her death. I think I should have a chat with Samia the next time she visits. I'd like to find out about her conversation with Sybil. If my assumptions are correct, that may have been the last conversation the Oracle ever had. Okay, elective class. Okay. Not reading that. Hold on, guys. Okay. I'm feeling sick. Like a cold or something. Was tonight the party? No. I awake bright and early on Saturday morning. Well, early for me. Rayla gives out a soft groan of protest as I move about the room. Guess it's also early for her as well. For some reason, Arian thought it would be a good idea to do a weekend lesson, but I'm not complaining. I've been interested in learning more from him. Our last lesson was a lot. When it's time, I wait outside my dorm building. Students are milling about everywhere, enjoying the cool morning weather. When Arian finally arrives, striding casually across the lawn, he catches the attention of every student in the area. Groups of interested students stare, shamelessly giggling and whispering amongst themselves. Aside from the few times he's been substituted for Professor Balin's Azurite class, I haven't really seen him outside in the wild. He sticks out like a sore thumb, as if he doesn't belong here with all the regular students. He nods at me as he approaches, holding 2 cups in his hand. Good morning, Miss Adonis. Are you ready? Behind me, I hear the group of students whispering feverishly between each other. I look back and they immediately stop. Hold on, let me save, because I'm scared, bitch, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm ready, let's go. I nod towards the cups he is carrying. What are those? Oh right, I made some coffee. I thought you might like one as well. Thanks, I definitely need it early in the morning. It is not that early. It is when I usually sleep in on the weekends. It just occurred to me that we aren't walking towards his office. In fact, why did he come to my dorm instead of meeting me in our usual place? Where are we going? To the old library. Why didn't we just meet there? He glances at me, one eyebrow raised. You've only been there once, Miss Adonis. You are certain to lose your way there. Do you not remember our first meeting? Of course I do. I'd gotten lost and Arian had to show me my way back to the dorms. However, he doesn't know I've been to the old library more than once. But that was weeks ago. I know my way around now. Do you? Well then, which direction do we need to go to the old library? I stop in my tracks and Arian stops alongside me. I look around at the various buildings on campus. But honestly, I'm not terribly sure which building is the correct one. I decide to take a guess and point towards the building straight ahead. Nice try, Miss Adonis, but I'm afraid your sense of direction is still woefully inadequate. Whoops. This might sound like another of his judgy insults, but when I look up at him, he is smiling. I give him an exaggerated grumble, but accept my defeat and follow him towards the building on the left. We arrive at the old library, and just like before, it is quiet and empty. Why did you decide to continue our lessons? You know, Professor Balin only signed me up for 4 weeks of private study. You just made a breakthrough in our last lesson. I couldn't possibly let you stop now. Oh yeah? I guess I'm glad I was able to impress you at least once. What makes you think that you haven't impressed me before? Well, you're not exactly easy on the criticism. Miss Adonis, I am hard on you because I see great potential in you. You do? Despite how you began your journey at Sarenville, despite being thrown into an impossible situation, you never gave up. You accepted your fate head on. You weren't afraid of failure. I suppose failure is a very human trait. We suffer so much failure throughout our lives, we kind of just become immune to it. I have never met another human before, but I must admit that the stories are not kind. Hey, a lot of that is propaganda. Hold on. Whoa, my mic. Hey, a lot of that is propaganda. Humans aren't perfect, but we have our strengths. I'm beginning to see that. When I look towards him, I'm hit with that intense gaze of his. That gaze has the ability to intimidate and thrill me at the same time. But don't think that means I will go easy on you. No, of course not. I look forward to your continued verbal lashings. He gives a small laugh at that, and I laugh along with him. Then shall we begin? We start with the various trainings I'm familiar with, warming up to my once loathed visualization exercise. Still not a fan, but I've begun to realize the benefits of exercise on my mind this way. Do you want to try to probe my mind again? Really? What if I knock you over again? I'll be ready for you this time, Miss Adonis. Okay then, if you're sure. This time I'm going to be visual. I'm going to visualize something a bit more complex. Since we've already discovered you have the ability to find simple symbols, let me see if you can pull one of the images from those cards in the same deck that we use in Azurite class. I'm not sure I'm ready to add one more complexity to the exercise, but I trust Arian's judgment. Alright, same as last time. Picture my mind like a door to be opened. Don't be afraid to push it. I thought that this process might be easier this time, but I was wrong. Despite knowing what I have to do moving towards my mental target, still feels like I don't know what that word, I don't know what it said. But unlike last time, I have this sense of determination knowing that I can eventually get there. And I know I have a log too. I just don't utilize it. However, after a few moments, something changes. My mind eyes seem to shimmer and I catch a glimpse of another scene, different than my mental landscape of a far-away door. I look around, seeing the fabric of my vision is tearing, a dark, swirling vortex flooding in through my cracks. I must let out an audible gasp because I hear Arian's voice, though it sounds impossibly far away. Miss Adonis? The sky continues to dissolve around me until I'm almost completely blanketed into darkness. The door is still there, however, so I continue to move towards it. I can feel my breathing quicken, but I don't stop. I'm almost there. This time, when I reach the door, I don't have to push it open. It opens for me. But I don't like what I see. On the other side, I see Arian looking impossibly beautiful, but also impossibly cruel. A sense of dread floods through me. Whatever this is, I know it's not good. This Arian is not the Arian sitting across from me. He is Nori. My eyes fly open. Arian. You were breathing irregularly. Where did you go? How can I explain what I just saw? How do I put that into words when I don't answer? Returns to a seat across from me. I think we may have pushed you a bit too far. No, that's not it. It's completely fine, Miss Adonis. This is only your second attempt. The more complex image may have been too much too soon. He tosses the card on the table. It's an image of a field of wheat and a windmill. Definitely nothing like what I saw. How about we call it a day? It's early enough that you still have plenty of weekend free time. Yeah, okay. That was weird. I leave the room in a bit of a daze. Is what I saw the vision of the future? The ominous feeling I had of Arian's face that can't be the future. It must have been some other meaning I can't decipher. I need something to get my mind off this. What should I do today? Common room. Damn it. Alright, what should I do today? Let's go here again. Alright, we gate. Unless something happens. Let's save. There's a quick knock on the door. When I go back to answer it, it's an energetic girl shoves a paper in my face. Sarenville Scryer is here. Read all about it. My first Sarenville party is this Friday. I was not much of a partier in my old life. I'm a brand new person now. I find that I'm actually looking forward to this. No time for the party planning now. It's time to choose this week's electives. Well, let's do this. There. Alright, another elective class for Monday. Alright, Tuesday. Electives again. Guess this is gonna be electives for now on, huh? Now that I have had a few days to pore over Sybil's journal, I need now more than ever to make plans with Simia. I need to know if the former Oracle really was being watched by her predecessor and if he really had a warning for her. The warning could save my life. Sybil's last entry said she was going to meet with Simia, and I want to know all about that conversation. It is unlikely that Simia will visit Sarenville until my final council assessment, and that is still weeks away, and I can't wait that long. I need to find a way to reach out to her before then, and if anyone knows how to contact Simia, it's Professor Balin. You need to contact the council secretary? I have some questions that I think only Simia can answer. Professor Balin studied me for a moment, and I'm really hoping that he doesn't ask too many questions. Not because I don't trust the headmaster, but because I worry that the expressing my fears will make me seem like a crazy, as everybody apparently thought Sybil was. I don't need anyone doubting my sanity yet. Not until I can uncover the truth and prove that Sybil's fears were not unfounded. Thankfully, Professor Balin does not press the issue, though it's clear that he knows more than he is letting on. We can send her a message, but I must warn you, Miss Almazi does not leave her work for just any reason. I had thought of this, of course. Every time I've seen Simia in the past, she appeared to be too busy for the likes of me, so I knew I needed something that would catch her attention. Tell her that I found Sybil's journal. The headmaster's eyes widen, and I know that he probably has a million questions about his new piece of information, but he recovers quickly. Ventus. Yes, sir. Please deliver a message to Miss Almazi at the High Court. Professor Balin scribbles something on a small piece of parchment, and it disappears when the wisp's shining form. Of course, sir. The wisp was gone in a flash, and I wonder where he carries the parchment. Ventus will return to you if he gets a response. Thank you, Professor, really. Come on. Anytime, just be safe, Miss Adonis. It's time for this week's club meeting, and Dex won't be there. Nori, are you heading back to the cold room today? Yes, but I think I've reached a dead end on the mystery. I just can't seem to figure out how Alistair and Reese are linked, and I'm no longer sending our ghost on. There are no dead ends, Nori. Maybe you just need a fresh pair of eyes on the situation. Do you mind if I come with you to the cold room today? Maybe I can offer some new insight. Sure, I'm certain Alistair would appreciate someone new to talk to. Great, let me just gather some things, and I think I have some books that may help us. Okay, anything. Alistair has already materialized when I arrive with Tanya, but he looks surprised to see that I'm not alone. Alistair, this is Tanya. She's the one I told you about. Tanya's eyes are widened as she looks at Alistair's ghostly figure. Wow, Nori told me that you had a physical form, but I never thought it would be like this. Like what? Like, so solid. It's nice to meet you, Tanya. Tanya offered to help us figure out what happened to you. I appreciate it, but I told you that I will be okay. You don't need to work so hard. Shush, I want to help you, and so does Tanya. That's right, and look what I brought. Tanya pulls out a book from a collection she gathered and hands it to Alistair. You can hold physical objects, right? I can. What is this? It's the Star Minsters Academy Annual from last year. Of course, I thought it might jog your memories. Alistair opens the book and looks through the pages. He flips slowly back and forth, reading each carefully. After a moment, his eyes widen. This does look familiar, and I seem to be wearing the school uniform. Did I go to the school? That was my original theory. That's why I brought Reese here to see you, but I don't see how you and Reese can be the same person. Alistair finds a page with Reese's photo. He stares at it long and hard, his face unreadable. Maybe we're looking at this all wrong. Until now, we've been assuming that Alistair has appeared from the past to solve this murder, right? But what if it's the other way around? What do you mean? What if Alistair is a projection from the future? What if he's here not to solve his own murder, but to prevent it? What? Think about it. Alistair is an unknown entity who appears one day and claims to have been murdered here. But he doesn't fit the profile of any known deaths in this room, because it hasn't happened yet. That's crazy. Crazy, yes. Possible, also yes. So that would mean Alistair and Reese are really the same person, and somehow Reese dies in this room. I don't want to believe that that's true. Alistair is thoughtful and kind. Reese does anything but. I glance over at Alistair, who said nothing during the exchange. He is still looking at the book, his expression blank. So then, are we supposed to prevent Rhys's murder? That would be my guess. But what happens to Alistair then? I guess he wouldn't exist, his spirit of Rhys in the future, right? If Rhys never dies, then Alistair would never need to appear. I had mixed feelings about this. Obviously, preventing a death is the correct choice in the scenario. Alistair would no longer be stuck in this room, and Rhys would live. But then I'd never see Alistair again. He is so much more than just the ghost of Rhys. He is my friend. I want to bring him back, but we could try to stop Rhys from ever going to this room. If we make sure he never gets inside, then he can't die here. That could work. I suppose it's my fault he knows about this room in the first place. I invited him here a week ago. Why did you invite Rhys here? I wanted to find out if Rhys would trigger Alistair's memory, but Rhys wasn't able to see Alistair at all. Strange, and that supports my theory, doesn't it? If Rhys could see his own ghost, would the murder ever have happened? I don't think I like this time travel stuff. Let's focus on the next step, which is making sure that Rhys doesn't enter this room. We'll worry about the rest later. Sounds easy enough. I just wish I didn't feel so conflicted about the whole thing. Once again, I look towards Alistair. He is no longer engrossed in the book. Instead, he is looking at me. His face is somewhat sad. Are you okay? I'm fine. This is just weird. Yeah, it really is. It's getting late, Nori. We better get going. My mind is racing. This is more complicated than I thought. There is so much happening and I want to help, but I'm unsure how. Whichever way this happens, either Alistair or Rhys will be no more, and I'm not looking forward to finding out which one it is. Wonder who the killer is. Or who the killer will be. Zoology. In this week's tutoring session, I have two things on my mind: the Festival of Embers and Arian's inevitable turn to the dark side. On one hand, I'm looking forward to the festival, but every time I think about him, my mind replays that scene, the vision I saw from the old library. The look in his eyes, the wave of dread that consumes me every time I picture it. It's nothing good. Your mind is drifting, Miss Adonis. I snap out of my own inner thoughts and see Arian's face in front of me. This comment from him would have only been paired with a scornful expression, but now he is smiling at me gently. There is nothing sinister in his face. Sorry, I guess I just have a lot on my mind. Let's try again. Today we are practicing psychometry, which is reading the history of an object through the touch. I'm holding an antique pocket watch, attempting to determine the identity of the previous owner. So far I've been able to see small snippets of the person's life, but putting them all together has proved rather difficult, or maybe it's just difficult because my mind is clearly somewhere else. I take a deep breath and attempt to clear my mind again. Don't think about the vision. Focus on the watch. Don't think about the vision. Don't stop. I open my eyes. Arian moves from his seat behind the desk. He stops in front of me, leaning against the desktop in a casual way. What's going on? Nothing's going on. I'm just having some trouble concentrating today. Miss Adonis, you know I can tell when your mind is clouded, right? You can? I can feel anyone's mind if we are in close proximity. So you're reading my mind right now? My words come out harsher than I intended. I am angry at the potential breach of privacy, but really I'm more worried that he will see what keeps replaying in my eyes. What would he think when he sees me envisioning him in that way? No, I'm not reading your mind. My gifts allow me to see the state of someone's mind like an aura. If I wanted to read your mind, your thoughts, I could, but I would never invade your privacy in that way. Oh. I feel a little guilty about lashing out at him, but I'm really relieved he can't see what I'm thinking about currently. So will you tell me why your mind is currently resonating a dark aura? What's a dark aura mean? It usually means a person is plagued with dark emotions, guilt, grief, fear. Fear, that's exactly what I'm feeling. I am afraid of what I saw, afraid it will come true, afraid that the man in front of me will cause pain and destruction. I can't help if you don't share with me. I'm not sure you can help regardless. Try me. I'm gonna tell him. My wearing emotions feel overwhelming. I want to tell him, but I'm afraid of the consequences. Would I want someone to tell me if they had a vision of my future? Yes, I think I would. As hard as it is, Arian deserves to know. If there is any chance of changing this future, it's best that he be fully aware. Last week during our lesson, I had a vision unlike any other I've had before. This one was more of a feeling. It's hard to explain. Visions are not always received in the same way. You can use your sight by seeing, hearing, or feeling. So what you experience is simply another facet of your abilities. That makes sense. So what did you feel? I feel dread and fear. Fear of what? You. If I hadn't already been studying Arian's face, I may have missed the flicker of shock that passed over his features. He composes himself immediately and fixes me with an almost clinical look of interest. Why would you be afraid of me? That's just it. I'm not sure. I saw your face and the emotions were overwhelming. I paused, not sure how to pose my next question. Do you think I'm seeing you turn to the sullen? Arian straightens up, no longer in a casual leaning position on the desk. He moves back to his chair and sits his hands folded underneath his chin. Was there anything else in your vision? Well, I saw your face. You were holding some sort of strange flower, but that's it. Like I said, this is mostly a feeling. I suppose it could mean anything. No, it seems pretty clear. Does it? I told you before that this destiny is all too common with Akulai. I suppose I wanted to be an exception, but you can't change the inevitable. Wait a minute. Who said it was inevitable? I thought you agreed that destiny shouldn't control you. Arian gives a small sigh and closes his eyes. Surely whatever this is can be changed, right? Arian continues to sit, eyes closed for a long moment. When he looks up at me again, he seems tired. I'm sorry, Miss Adonis, but can we cut our lesson short? I need to think. Wait, we can talk about this. Please. My protests die on my lips. I've never heard Arian sound so utterly defeated. Was it a mistake to tell him? I walk back to my dorm in silence, thoughts whirling. Surely a destiny is not set in stone. I refuse to believe one can just not change their future. I'm determined to prove it. Well, now he knows. Alright, today's elective class. Let me save. Tonight is the Festival of Embers, my radiant party. Rayla has already left, claiming that she has gone special business to take care of, so I suppose I'll be arriving solo. When I arrive at the Festival of Embers, the party is already full swing. I have never seen so many students in one place. The outside grounds have been transformed into a huge open-air ballroom, and there are people everywhere dancing, eating, drinking. I scan the crowd for a familiar face and spot Professor Balin, surrounded by a group of my fellow Azurite students. He smiles when he sees me approach. Miss Adonis, how are you enjoying your first party at Sarenville? It's so fancy, so much food. It is indeed quite something. Are there any official events at the festival or just food and socializing? The most anticipated event is the bonfire. Since the Festival of the Embers celebrates rebirth, the students are encouraged to write down their wishes and personal growth and throw them in the fire. When does the bonfire take place? Not for another hour, so you can go ahead and eat if you like. It should hold you over until then. That sounds like a great idea. Good luck in your endeavors tonight, Miss Adonis. Thank you, Professor. I walk up to the nearest food table and start picking out things to eat. There's everything from little sandwiches to large platters of meat and vegetables. It takes me longer than I expected since there's so much to choose from, but once I've made my selection, I make for the nearest table where I find an empty seat. As soon as I sit down, someone sits next to me. Found you! Rayla is positively glowing in the evening lighting. She is obviously in her element at a party surrounded by people. And I see you've decided to start with the food. Excellent choice. Rayla grabs one of the tiny sandwiches from my plate and stuffs it in her mouth. These are my favorite. They're so small and cute. We chow down on our appetizers and I have to agree with Rayla. They are quite delicious. Professor Balin told me about the bonfire. He said we're supposed to make wishes? Oh yeah, it's not required, but it's a way. It's always a good idea to put your hopes into the universe. You'll never know what will happen. So you're going to make a wish? Probably nothing big, just something minor. Wishful thinking. Like what? I'm really hoping for new shoes this year. Really? That's what you're gonna wish for? Maybe, but I can figure it comes true. My feet will thank me. Well, good luck with that. Who knows, maybe you'll end up with more than just new shoes. We somehow manage to polish off multiple plates of food before we decide we are stuffed. We stand up and head over to the dance floor, which is completely packed. A band is set up on stage and is playing upbeat songs and I've never heard before. Students are swaying and moving to the music. As soon as we join the crowd on the dance floor, Rayla starts dancing. I have never seen her like this before. She bounces and twirls, moves her hands through the air. Her hair whips back and forth and she's practically vibrating with excitement. This is awesome. Look at everyone. Everyone is happy. I nod in agreement. She's right. It's nice to be here amongst the crowd. It most makes me forget the troubles that have been looming over me the past few weeks. Soon the dancers begin to disperse, and then there's an announcement that the bonfire has begun. We leave the dance floor and make our way to the front of the gathering crowd. Ooh, pretty. I look around at the crowd. There must be 100 people here, all eager to toss their hopes into the flames. Let's get our wishes ready. I grab a piece of paper from the table set up nearby, but it's not until now I consider, what am I going to write? There's no time to dwell on it because the crowd is thickening and everyone rushes forward and begins hurling pieces of paper into the fire. I better decide quick. Professor Balin said people usually wish for personal growth, but where do I need to work? Body, mind. Probably say body. My force, that's it? Okay, everything. Okay, good. I toss my paper into the blaze. It sizzles and pops and ignites. I feel a rush of satisfaction as I watch it burn away. Here we go! Rhea flings her paper into the air and watches it vanish into the inferno. That felt good. Yeah, I like burning things. Don't tell other dryads. The bonfire continues to burn, sending plumes of smoke into the sky. People start wandering off, making room for others. Now what? Surely you'll have someone special you'd like to cuddle up with under these stars. I suppose I do. You need to hurry up then, or you won't get a chance. She's right. I just need to realize I haven't seen my special someone at the festival tonight. I scan the crowd of students, attempting to find the familiar face amongst them. Then I see him. Rayla follows my gaze and gives me a knowing smile. Go get him. I see Arian standing with a couple of professors near the dining tables. And of course, he'd be hanging out with the professors. He looks my way when I approach and nods in greeting. He excuses himself from the group of chattering professors and walks towards me. Miss Adonis, are you enjoying the festival? I am. Are you going to throw a wish into the bonfire? Actually, I already did. How about you? I prefer not to interfere with the fates' will. Oh, come on, don't be serious. But Miss Adonis, it's not wise. Wishes are always unpredictable. I'm willing to take that risk. And he stares at me, trying to gauge my seriousness. Then, to my surprise, he smiles. Very well then, may you find whatever it is you desire. That reminds me, I have a gift for you. I reach into my pocket and retrieve the box I got from the market. I present it to him with a flourish. What is it? It's something from the human world. Arian takes the box out of my hand and opens it. His eyes widen and he examines the contents. It's beautiful. Where did you get it? I got it from the market. They had an entire booth full of these things from the side of the world. This is very special, thank you. We stand in silence for a moment, each of us lost in thought. Finally, I break the silence. I wanted to give you a gift because I think you're a great friend. Thank you, I appreciate that more than I can express. I really mean it. You've been helpful to me ever since we met, and I want you to know that I value our friendship. And I value yours, Miss Adonis. My cheeks flush. I hadn't expected him to say anything like that. I'm not sure if it was what he meant to say or how it just came out naturally, but either way, I like how it sounds. His eyes are on me, and I suddenly find the urge to change the subject. It's getting quite loud. There's so many people here. Indeed, would you like to go somewhere quieter? I know of an excellent spot to stargaze. Sounds perfect. Arian leads me through the crowd towards the edge of a balcony. I've never been here before, but I can tell it's a popular place. A few other couples are sitting around the same hill space. The stars shine brilliantly against the darkening sky. We sit down on the ground, leaning back on our elbows and looking up at the stars. I love coming out here. There's nothing like watching the stars at night like this. Yes, they're beautiful. I look over at him. He's staring up at the heavens, lost in contemplation. His features seem softer in the moonlight. I wonder what he must be thinking about. Something is on your mind? Are you reading my thoughts now? No, I can just tell. You have that look about you. Arian looks away from me, facing the starry skies. All night I've been debating whether or not I should bring up this topic. We've had such a lovely evening, I don't want to spoil it. Is this about my vision? He doesn't respond. He just keeps staring up at the darkness. If you don't want to talk about it, no, it's okay. We should talk about it. Obviously, since you told me about your vision, I put a lot of thought into my destiny. As Oculi, we are told that our existence serves purpose. That purpose is to balance the magic in our world, and sometimes the balance takes us in directions we cannot control. We do not disparage those of our kind who have chosen darkness because that is what is necessary. So you truly believe your future is out of your hands? It is the only truth I've ever known. But you can't just give in like that. Arian turns towards me and takes my hand in his. I told you I've been thinking about this. While I realize that fate may be against me, that no Oculi before me has been able to deny their destiny, I realize I have something that they don't. And what? You. Me. Yes, not only are you the Oracle, the only being in our world more rare than Oculi, but you're Nori. But you, Nori, believe you can change the world, and that makes me want to believe as well. Well, I don't know about that. Your absolute conviction is a force more powerful than you realize, and I can feel it radiating off of you. It fills me with more hope and determination than I've ever felt before. I stare at him, his hands still curled around mine. I squeeze tight, lightly, the intensity of his gaze. I know he truly believes in me. Maybe this is how we can change fate. However. I may want to change fate. I may try my hardest to avoid the future that you've seen, but I need to accept the possibility that it could still happen. I may still turn from the light. His expression shifts somewhat, and there's something else there. His eyes are searching mine as if looking for acceptance. Before I know what I'm doing, I move towards Arian, meeting my lips to his. It takes him a moment to recover, but he returns the soft kiss, placing his hand on my cheek. Tiny shivers run down my spine, and my breath catches in my throat. I pull away and little shocked at my boldness. I never even considered if he wanted to kiss me. Was that wrong? No. Okay, good, because I can get carried away sometimes, and Arian's lips crash into mine, and suddenly our soft, sweet kiss turns into much more intense. I wrap my arm around his neck in an attempt to get closer to him. The tiny shivers I'd felt previously blossom into full-blown electricity. Arian pulls away slightly, breath ragged. I feel his penetrating gaze on me, even without opening my eyes. Whatever happens, are you ready for it? I open my eyes now and look deep into his. Yes. No matter what? No matter what. Our lips touch again, and this time there is no hesitation. We simply fall into each other, reveling in each other's touch, surrounded by the night sky. I'll change your fate if it's the last thing I do. Aw, that was cute. Alright, what are we doing today, Saturday? We're gonna focus on this. Composure, logic, academic. Let's do this. Alright, week 9. Hey, we're almost done. I think it goes to week 12. Okay, this week's electives, chanting, geomancy. Okay, today's elective again. With my second council meeting looming, I decided to do some proper studying in the main library this time. Unlike the old library, the books are neatly arranged on the shelves according to their category: history, magic, politics, linguistics, and so on. I pull out a few random books from the government section and nestle into the secluded corner, books piled around me. But as soon as I read over pages and pages of surprisingly mundane history of the Radiant Council, my eyes begin to droop. I don't blame her. I'm not sure how many moments have passed, but when I open my eyes, the library is eerily quiet. I look around, noticing that the library is now empty and the main lights have been switched off, leaving only the dim lighting on the walls. How long have I been asleep? Didn't anyone notice I was here? I start to rise slowly and freeze with the sound of breathing approaching from behind me. I spin. There's nothing there, but this feeling is all too familiar. I've heard this sound before in the hallways of the old wing. That sound belongs to the mysterious shadow, and I don't plan to stick around to see it again. I spin around again, ready to make the run towards the door exit. However, as I move, I catch sight of something new, a flicker of movement in one of the nearby bookshelves. I stare, heart thumping loudly in my chest, as I realize what I'm seeing. A shadowy figure stands in the darkness. Any discernible features it might have been hidden by the shadows cast by the dim light. It's definitely the same thing I saw in the old wing, a shadow in the shape of a person. I feel suddenly cold, and my stomach muscles tighten up, preparing for the worst. I can't let it attack me again, but if I run, will it chase me down? My heart is pounding so loud I can hear the blood rushing through my ears. I take a deep breath and close my eyes, trying to get myself under control. I need to think clearly. Who are you and what do you want? The shadow doesn't answer, but just stands there in the dark watching me. I look around again, but no one else is in the library. I need to run. It's the only option. I take a step, ready to bolt out the door when the shadow comes forward. I'm completely unprepared for what happens next. It moves into me. I stumble backwards, feeling a heavy weight on me. But this thing isn't solid. This weight is inside me. My air feels constricted, like it's being pulled out of my body. I can't breathe. I thrash my arms wildly, but they pass straight through me. Wow, they pass straight through the shadow creature. My vision begins to darken. Oh God, I'm going to pass out right here. Then the hold on me ceases abruptly, and I gasp desperately, choking onto the sudden rush of air into my lungs. The shadow creature turns towards the door, and the door I was so close to escaping through. The shadow is gone in an instant, flickering out of sight. I sit there dazed, my brain still spinning, trying to make sense of what just happened. I feel so weak and shaky, like I could faint at any moment, and then I do. That's not good. My surroundings are unfamiliar as I open my eyes. This is not my room. The last thing I remember was a dark shape looming over me and the air leaving my lungs, and I don't remember anything else. Oh, you're awake. The unfamiliar voice jolts me up, right? And panic rises in my throat. No, don't move. You need to rest. My vision clears a bit and I see an unfamiliar figure in front of me dressed in a fancy blue robe. I'm a healer, Groves. I've been looking after you. The librarian brought you in last night, but you were out cold. What happened to me? Well, you passed out. Luckily, you don't have any concussions. I was attacked. Someone tried to choke me. Oh, do you know who it was? No, I mean, yes, but it was a shadow. Well, don't you worry about that now. Just rest. The headmaster will be here shortly to check in with you. Oh, wait. Here he is now. Welcome, Professor. Thank you, Healer Groves. I'd like a moment to talk to Miss Adonis, if you don't mind. The healer bows and exits the room. Professor Valen pulls up a chair beside my bed. His face is stricken, but unusual calm expression I am used to seeing. Miss Adonis, I'm so sorry this happened. It's not your fault. But it is. As headmaster, it is my job to keep my students safe. I promise you that there will be no harm come to you, and I have been unable to keep that promise. You did not see the person who attacked you, right? It was a shadow thing, same as the thing that I ran into in the hallway. Was it corporeal? Were you able to touch it? I think for a moment it was certainly able to touch me enough that it could choke me anyways, but I also remember my hands going straight through it when I tried to feign it off. No, it wasn't solid, but it still managed to push me down and strangle me. That is worrisome. Unfortunately, he is not able to elaborate because the healer enters the room again. It's time for your next dose of Valerian. What's that? It's just an herb. It will help with the pain and allow you to sleep. He gives me a small cup of thick liquid. I expect it to taste awful, but it tastes kind of sweet like honey. Excellent. I'll be back to check up on you soon. I suppose that was my cue to leave as well. You still need your rest. You'll be able to receive visitors tomorrow, most likely. I don't want him to go. I want to know what he knows about the shadow creature. I'm about to tell him as much as when a woman enters a room, another teacher, presumably. Professor Balin, when you have a moment. Professor Balin nods curtly towards the woman at the door. Then he turns back to me. I'm afraid I must step away, but Please get some rest, Miss Adonis. My eyes were already drifting closed. The pain meds seemed to be taking effect awfully fast. Then I hear a flurry of hurried whispers coming from the room's entrance. My eyes remain closed, but my ears are straining to hear the conversation happening on the other side of the room. Professor Balin is whispering intently with one of the teachers, not one I recognize. Most likely a shade. That means, yes, someone is controlling it with dark magic. Have you news on the boy? Yes, he has been found. We place him in confined space for the time being. That is good. We shall keep him there until the council can send someone. Make sure he is comfortable. They're talking about Dex. Professor Balin had told me that they are planning to let the authorities question him once they found him. Yes, sir. Do you think he will attempt to contact his family? Unlikely. His parents haven't been seen or heard from since they joined the Sullen years ago. I don't think even he knows where they are. Are we certain he does not practice their dark magic? Once I was certain, but recent events have put that into question. To my disappointment, the headmaster and teacher leave the room, cutting my eavesdropping session short. But I've heard plenty. Dex has been captured. His parents are sullen, and he might know dark magic. I don't get a chance to ruminate any of this new information for long, as my medicine has finally taken over me, and I drift to sleep. Hold on. Let's save. It's been a minute. The next morning, Healer Groves greets me with a broad... Actually, let's cut it short. The dogs are barking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.